it's like, man, this is the real deal kind of ministry. This isn't like, oh, I check a box to get my volunteering in for the week. This is like, and you guys are having an impact on students' lives. And I hope you know that and see the value in that, because we see it all the time when we're talking to students and when we're sitting with students and hearing about their relationship with you guys. I mean, Tay almost lost his mind when we ran into you at the Timberwolves game. He was about to poop his pants. Just the excitement, right? That it's a genuine, real relationship, and that's what we want, right? That's what we talk about straight from the beginning with Life on Life. But to start, we want to take time to learn from each other. So each and every one of you has had a chance to sit with high school students to talk about life, to talk about God, to talk about your faith. And we want to learn from each other what worked, what doesn't work, what was hard, what was great. And I put up this picture from the beginning, right? It seems like a long time ago. It wasn't that long ago, right? This is the first week of November, our last training, right? Taking a picture. So it's kind of fun to think about all that's happened since then, all the ministry and the changed lives. And I mean, we've seen guys come to Christ, right, in the last few months because of what we've been doing. So it's cool to look back on. But from that time to now, okay, what are things we've learned? What are things we can grow from? So I want, anyone and everyone to share any of these answers. What have you learned doing the small groups? What works? What doesn't work? What have you learned about North Minneapolis? What North Minneapolis students? So, kind of want to open up to you guys. Doesn't have to be super profound. Could be anything.
I think one thing that was tough with the Bethel situation and talking to the guys was, this was tough for them, obviously, because it was someone they're super close to, but at the same time, it's just kind of like normalized at the same time. Like, they had that car accident where somebody died like 2 weeks before or something like that too, so death surrounding kids their age is just like not that, it's a huge deal, but it's not, to them, it's not how we would probably view it. So it's a huge eye-opener.
For sure. Definitely. We said with Marcus, and he's like, yeah, I haven't cried. We're like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm just used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had one of their other best buddies OD last year. It's like, just, yeah, an unhealthy place emotionally to be that comfortable with that and not being able to process it. Anything else?
One thing I think I've taken from it is like you really have no clue what people are going through. So like they'll be smiling in like big group time or at the lift or just in life, and then we'll break into small group or I'll just talk to them one-on-one and then ask them what's going on, and it'll just be like they'll just break down or tell me like they're depressed or they're going through horrible stuff. So it's just like the little things that we do actually like have a big impact on a lot of the kids, I felt like. And another thing I definitely think I've learned is like more about a different culture. Like things we see every day doesn't mean it's normal. That's what I've taken.
I think for me, like one thing I was struggling with was the guys we meet with are mostly guys are pretty, they don't show a ton of emotion, so they're trying to like trying to help them like process the people stuff is like, they're just kind of pretty straight faced and stuff, and I don't know what I expected, but they're trying to just tell them like it's alright if you're like you're pulling up about it, it's alright if you're mad, it's alright if you're sad about it, and I don't know if it changed tone, but I feel like they kind of understood, and that just allowed them to be a bit whatever they were feeling the moment, I guess.
Kind of like Danny just learning how different, everyone's different, right? So everyone kind of responds to different things. And like Savion Stefan went like super bubbly, like laugh all the time, like they'll pretty much talk about everyone ever. And then other people are, So it's just kind of navigating that and how to approach it. It's harder to have, 4 guys in front of you and ask them all the same question versus you're on the car ride back, you got one guy in the car, it's easier, right? So I think, not as serious, but I feel like cars are a lot better for talking. I don't know what it is about cars, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, that is so funny, the drop off.
Oh.
And then it's when it's whoever it's the last one.
Yes.
That's when you have the best conversation, those one-on-one things,
Yeah.
drop offs.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's because it's like less formal. I think they're a little more intimidated when they're like at a table looking right at you, an individual, So we've definitely had guys open up a lot in the car just taking them home rather than sitting in Chipotle or something.
Yeah.
I think,
One thing I've learned is when you put your heart into something, like in Dijo, like and then but it's just how to even go about the rest of the year. That was like sick. Like I don't know how to handle this. Like I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like so I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot how you handled it. Just being real. Just being like this is where I'm at. I think I was trying to avoid that a lot, but not showing that I cared. But I mean, not like that, but like I don't want to cry for them. I want to stay strong.
Yeah, growing up, I mean, I always heard of like tragedies and stuff that happened, and I mean, I wasn't close with Dijo, I didn't know him because I'm fairly new to FCA, but at the retreat, when you brought it up, I could just feel, everybody went silent, you could feel just that tension, and, it was just a big eye-opener for me to be somewhat a part of that, and just to see that like, this stuff is real, and it happens a lot, and it's very unfortunate.
Anything else? More about Bible study, what's been working, what has gotten kids talking, what doesn't work, what, obviously, okay, one-on-one, has a little different feel.
kind of like open-ended questions, how do you feel about this, what do you think about this? Oh, is this better than like a yes, no answer, right? So, it's always been better. Usually it'll get a little talking and then at least another thought and another time it kind of keeps going.
Yeah. This is a little thing, but rephrasing questions. To, like, if I ask a question and nobody's talking, okay, how can I say this differently? Or in a simpler maybe, and then try to rephrase, and then if it's done, okay, we'll move on. But sometimes that helps spur on a different thought. All right, any last thoughts?
I'll say one thing. I don't know how many, maybe you guys all do it, but it seems to help a lot when we've like followed guys on Instagram and Cam has a lot of the guys' Snapchats and then it's just like building relationships outside of like the Thursdays and then like it seems like the guys actually know we care about them a lot more than sometimes a Thursday thing because Cam is playing like Fortnite with some of these guys like throughout the week and then the relationships seem to be a lot better. Just easy stuff like connecting on social media and stuff.
Sometimes it's taking the flow of the conversation where it's gonna naturally go versus having to stick to, like, we wanna give you resources, so you're like, okay, these are the questions, this is what we're going through, and you don't feel like, oh, I got nothing. But we also can take it where the kids wanna go with it, be ready to flow with, oh, they wanna talk about this, all right, let's talk about that. And sometimes that ends up being a more productive conversation anyways, cause it's what's on their mind. So I'm sure a lot of you experience that. You're like, okay, we're off topic. So gauging, yes, is this a good off topic where we should keep going, or is this let's get back on topic? So
personally, like, I think it's awesome to meet the people, you know, behind the stories, because, like, I think you've talked about a lot of times in the news, people just crap on the people in these cities, and then when I actually get to meet them, it's like, these people are awesome, you know, and like, that's the second time I've experienced this, because when I went to Haiti, it was a lot like that, you realize people are awesome, and doing this, it's like, a lot of these kids are dealt a really bad hand, and they just get crapped on by the media and stuff, so
Yeah.
meeting them has been awesome and eye-opening.
That's great, appreciate it. Alright, anything else before we move on?
I think kind of like Caleb said with being real, I think when you get to a point where they'll start telling you about their life and then they'll start like asking me questions about myself, and I think it's been important to be like, you know, yeah, I have struggled with that, or yeah, I've been there, because like you don't want to paint the picture of like, oh yeah, I'm this perfect Christian to try to teach you everything, right? Like that's not what it is. And so to the point in the relationships now where like everyone trusts everyone with that and everyone's comfortable with that, and you know, it's not easy like as a leader, like, oh yeah, I've struggled with that before, I've struggled with that, but I think it makes our relationship even stronger.
Yeah, that's why you need Jesus, because I don't have it figured out, that's why I have to go to him every day, you know, and so, it's teaching them that you're broken like I am, and you can make this choice like I did, and not teaching them, this is how you do it perfectly, because that's not really possible, it's unattainable goal. You got some, or,
Oh, no, sorry.
now you got some?
What's your name again?
My name is Nate.
Nate? Oh,
Nice to
gotcha,
meet you guys. Yeah.
gotcha.
Did you play football?
Used to, back when I was somewhat of a, called myself an
You got
athlete.
hurt, but you're going pro, I think.
Yeah, man, I didn't blow out those knees,
The
man.
knee.
Kyle or Luke, you got anything before we move on? Just things you've learned in doing it, or?
I think like checking, like bringing up things that are previously talked about and like remembering those and then bringing them back up continually and like continuing that conversation is always really valuable. Whether that's, you know, with their relationships with people or coaches or family or girls or whatever they're going through. But just like touching back in on those things. And most of you are probably already doing that, but I know sometimes I forget to like check in on, oh yeah, if he was struggling with that, I should check back in on that, you know, like that sort of thing. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of value in that, and that's when you see a lot more growth, because we all just move on from thing to thing very easily. But if we can kind of remember those, there's a lot of impact.
I think, Jordan kind of touched on it, but just kind of letting the conversation go where it wants to go, kind of going with the flow of that, because I think, at least me personally, like sometimes I feel pressure to like make every car ride be about Jesus or something like that. But the reality is like, they'll ask some of those questions, but it might not be when you expect it to, or it might not be right after Bible study. It happens later based off the trust that's built in the day-to-day, based off the conversations about the NFL and about what happened at school and about XYZ. Some of those bigger questions then come up later. But at the same time then, it's twofold, like not being afraid to be bold and ask them questions about like real stuff. Like, you know, ask questions about what's going on at home, or ask questions about, like Kyle's saying, like if then they were struggling with this earlier, like ask them, because even if they don't know what to say or don't really give you an honest answer in the moment, like you're showing and you're communicating that you care and that you want to know.
Yeah, and a lot of what we talk about in our training is, right, showing that you care, building that trust. For a lot of you guys, you're there. Like you have that trust, you have that relationship, they want to know what you think, so don't be afraid to challenge somebody too, right? Challenge them in their faith, challenge them in their walk with the Lord, challenge them in their schoolwork, challenge them because the reality is, I would say all of you that I know, that I'm close, like you guys have that trust, okay? You put in the work, the time to build those relationships, and now, okay, so we want to use that to make an impact for Christ, for His kingdom. to make an impact in the student's life. And sometimes students need to be challenged. I mean, I need to be challenged, you need to be challenged, so don't be afraid to be that. Sometimes that feels like scary or something, because it's like, well, we have this great relationship, and I'm gonna be challenging him, he's not gonna like it, and then he's not, well, you have this great relationship, the care is still there, but in that care, now I have a space to challenge. And he knows where that's coming from. And I tell guys, like, the reason I'm challenging you is because I know how great you can be. Like, that's why I'm doing this. And I want you to get there. And so I'm trying to help you get there. So even maybe they don't see it, but then they know, like, okay, Coach Dornbush isn't getting on me because he hates me, he gets on me because he loves me and he wants me to be great. You know, and that's the same thing for you guys. Like, man, Feldy cares about me and he wants me to be doing things the right way, be doing my schoolwork the right way, be doing this faith walk thing the right way, and so he's challenging me. So don't be afraid to do that, especially with where we're at now. We've put in the work to have that influence, so let's use it well. All right? So